Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing some custom lighting for our front headlights on our VR4 project. In front of us, what we have is this is a set of 1994 Dodge Stealth good glass headlights. We're going to be taking these and we're going to be doing a Robomod, which involves opening the headlight up, pulling the insert out, and then we're also going to be adding in some halos into the inside. These will look absolutely awesome when they're all set and done. I do plan on doing a 1999 front end conversion for our car. That's something that a lot of people that own these cars like to do. They look incredible. To go along with that as well, I also picked up a set of 1999 turd signals. These are highly sought after and very expensive and also hard to find if you know anything about these cars. These will match up and pair perfectly with our headlights that we have. These are in need of a little bit of restoration, but I think I'm going to be able to make these turn out and look pretty decent. But we're just going to be focusing on the front headlights today. I've already cracked open our old original headlights off the car. I'll show you what we're going to steal from the inside of these. And we're going to preheat our oven to 275 degrees. This is the temp that is recommended to use for the glass headlights. If you're doing this on the Lexan or the plastic headlights, you're going to want to do about 225 degrees for these ones, just a little bit cooler for that material. And then I'm just going to start by taking off all this bracketry. Next, we need to work on removing all of these silver clips that go all the way around the outside rim of the headlight. Flathead screwdriver, get in between, take it, twist it, and you can pop all these clips off. We'll let that headlight cook for about 10 minutes or so. That glue needs to loosen up and melt a little bit so that way we can crack the actual casing kind of open. We're going to take a butter knife. We're just going to take this, kind of cut in between the seam to get the headlight kind of broken open and started. Now when we pull this out, we have a very short time window to do this. I'm going to do this in 2 stages, so we'll have to put this back in the oven to remelt this glue a little bit more and go all the way around this headlight to loosen it up. Once you get the seam kind of all the way broken around the outside, then we can go ahead, take this, get underneath it, and we're going to slowly start to kind of pry this up and see if we can get this to move. If you can't get it to move enough, add some more heat. It's not worth running the risk of breaking this. First, glass lens cover off. You can see quite a bit of dirt and crap that there was inside of this headlight, as well as I believe this housing. You can see how foggy these were. There is one screw holding right on the top. And then there's a clip that holds on the back corner piece right on the bottom side. You can see it right there. So we're just going to take this and get underneath the insert and pry this up. All right, and then there's should be a clip on each one of these bottoms. You'll need to take this and pull this kind of straight in order to get it out. Now we're looking at finally the inside of our headlight. So this is like the Robomod part. This is what we're going to be able to see once we remove this cover and we put this glass section back on. You don't need this. This looks cooler. We just need to clean it up a little bit. There is quite a bit of dirt and stuff in the bottom side of this. So we'll need to take a couple things out, clean it up, and then I am gonna repaint this, make sure everything looks nice and good. We're gonna work on taking out our bulbs. This is so when we paint this, we don't get anything on these. There's gonna be 2 Phillips screws on each side. One there, there, and the other side. Last thing we need to take out is the leveler, because we don't want this thing getting painted. just 2 Phillips. We'll remove this, and then that should pretty much complete it. Wet wipes, get in here, wipe everything down and get it as clean as we possibly can. Headlights are all cleaned up and ready to go. The paint that we're going to be using is a matte paint. This is just a Rust-Oleum. It's a paint and primer all in one, so it's just easy to use. We're going to spray this on, try to get everything hit in here as well as we can, get good coverage. Probably do around 3 coats, just as long as we have decent coverage. This should work out nicely. Make sure you're using matte paint too as well. If you do a gloss paint or even a semi, the light from your bulbs inside of these is going to reflect off of all that shiny paint, and it's going to kind of distort your headlights. And then I also am painting the brackets too as well. Lastly, I did just stuff paper inside of these bulb housings because you don't want paint really to get inside of those. The headlight housings all painted up with that matte black. It turned out pretty decent. And then I did also clean up and repaint the brackets that go on the sides to mount the headlight bucket into the car. Here's the 2 glass lenses. I just threw on one of the covers underneath this lens just to show you the amount of fog right in there. And you probably saw from the beginning of the video how dirty and fogged up these were. I'm just going to be using some invisible glass cleaner. Seems like I got quite a few stickies on the inside and also the outside too as well. Take some Goo Gone, spray it in here, let it sit. Use your Goo Gone in combination with a little razor blade. It works great for getting off this grime. Just be careful not to scratch your glass. We're not trying to gouge it, but just kind of work with the Goo Gone as a lubricant, and you can get a lot of the sticky stuff just scraped off of these. We're going to work on removing some of the glue from all of the outer edge of this light. We'll use a heat gun to kind of melt the glue, and then a screwdriver that we can fit inside of the channel, and we'll just take it and kind of push it out. All of the channels are pretty nice and smooth all the way around the entire surround of the headlight. Now we're going to move on to the assembly step, starting to put these back together. After playing around, swapping out these lenses back and forth, we just need to change out one more. If you look at all these, they all look decent. This one right there seems to be off just a little bit. Now, if we go over here, I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about with that cloudiness. So we'll run over these. Pretty cloudy, cloudy. And lastly, you can tell this one is significantly more clear. For whatever reason, it's seeming like I'm stealing all of the actual glass pieces out of the old headlights that were on the car, the original 98 headlights. They probably ended up changing the projector lenses to be a little bit more clear over the years. Find whatever glass bulb pieces it is that you like out of these, swap them, and arrange them onto our new one. These are essentially done. This is what is considered a Robomod. We're gonna take this one step further, and we're gonna install some halos because they look absolutely amazing. So let me show you what we got for the halos and how we're gonna end up doing this. What we have here for a halo, this is profile pivot switchback halo. For these headlights, we're going to need 4 in total, and they're all going to be the same size, 2 for this side and then 2 for this side. I picked up a set of 80mm halos thinking that these will work because that's what the forum said to do for halo Robomods. However, upon further inspection, if we go ahead and set this 80mm profile halo on, this is all the way butted up, and we are not quite touching this round metal bracket that we need to in order to give this a surface to stick to. This is too small to run for the Robomod. However, this will work if we were to go ahead and place this on the backside of the insert that would go on this headlight because it is a little bit smaller. In our case, because we're doing the Robomod and we're sticking these directly onto this metal bracket, it appears that a 90mm is going to be a more appropriate size. Once we get these halos in, I had to reorder another set. Then we're just gonna need to drill some holes on the backside so that way we can run our wire from these. There's gonna be 2 drills over here and then 2 drills on this side. I'll show you where I'm gonna be drilling them out. It's just where that Sharpie mark is. One there, boom, boom, and boom. This is going to work out perfect for our wiring that we need. It just slides right in and out. It is a 15-30 seconds drill bit. I just received a new package today that should contain our new halo rings that'll fit. Here is our new halo. This is a 90mm in size. So let's try this. We're gonna fit this on, and you can see fits around here actually quite nicely. This is gonna be the perfect size that should work for it. And the way that I'm gonna do this is we're gonna use a little bit of some Scotch extreme tape. We're gonna take this, cut this up, kind of lay it onto this bezel. We'll remove this obviously, and then we're just gonna cut some small strips of tape to put on the outside of it. I got both of the bezels set up. There's one, and here's the second one. All I did was I just took little strips of the tape, cut them off, kind of stuck them around this. I got them in little sections, and then cut on the outside of this bezel to kind of form fit. These fit on here actually very nicely. And if you'll notice, you'll see on the bottom, I left one section without any tape on it. That's because that's where the wires on this backside are gonna go, right where that area is, so I don't want any tape there to get in the way of it. Yeah, I now have the bezel stuck on. We got both of these, and from this point we can go ahead and we would be ready to stick on our halos. Now before we go ahead and do this, there's one quick thing that you should do before you go ahead and mount your halos on, and that's just test them to make sure that they actually work and function and do what they're supposed to do. The best way to do this is to take a little 9-volt battery that you know is good. We have the wiring harness clipped in, so that way we have all the wires free over on this side. We're gonna start by testing out the white color on this light. So what we're gonna do is just take one terminal, connect it to one side of the battery, and then the other terminal, connect it to the other side of the battery. And you can see it lights up nice and white. And then we'll also try out the amber. So this will work with the turn signal. Looks like our amber is working. Everything is 100% cleaned out, ready to go. I spent quite a bit of time cleaning out the glass good enough to where I'm happy with it. To seal these back up, we're going to be using a roll of this headlight sealant tape. This is like a rubber Butol type tape. Sealant is now laid all the way in the edge of the headlight. 275. Pop our glass lens on one of the headlights. It's not going to be able to set flush down on here because this has to heat up and melt, the glue does. Once you have this out of the oven, then you can then start taking it. Make sure you have some gloves on because it is still hot. And you're just going to press this glass lens into that glue and that sealant to make sure it's pressed down on here really nicely. And you should kind of start to see some of the glue start to ooze out the sides. That's a really good sign. Once we kind of have that decent, we're then going to go ahead and take all of our clips and start clipping in all the sides around this where these clips were previously. So we'll get these all on. Headlights are now baked and the lenses are on. Everything should be secured and all sealed up. All these clips, metal clips, are on all the way around. If you need to reheat it a couple times in order to get it to squish down on there a little better, go ahead and do that. I cleaned up this lens a little bit, and the last thing we need to do to pretty much finalize this and complete it is just throw our brackets that we freshly repainted back on. I did throw on the vent tubes as well in the back. You can see you got your vent right there. It goes over these purple pieces in the back. The last thing we're gonna do for this project is we need to seal off the holes that we ran the wires through for our halos on both sides. I just picked up some sealant. Now that sealant's had a chance to dry, these headlights are completed officially. I'll go ahead and light it up just so you can kind of see one of these, how it looks inside of the lens. One at a time, just with our wiring harness. You can see there's white, that'll be our daytime running. And then we'll switch to our blinker, which will be amber. I'd probably give these a 9 out of 10 condition-wise. There's still a couple blemishes in the lens and whatnot, but you gotta remember, these headlights are from 1994, so it's going to be hard to find a set that's going to be in perfect condition. And I just threw one of these headlights on the car, just laid it on there just to show you how much more aggressive this makes the car look just with one single mod. Even though the car's in pieces right now and in shambles, this headlight already makes this look 10 times better. Just wanted to give you guys just a quick little view of how this is going to look on the car, and this is without the side marker and turn signal, and obviously the front bumper and a million other pieces on the car that are taken off. And with that, that's gonna complete the Halo Robomod install. I haven't seen a whole lot of great instructional videos, so this is, in my opinion, the best video by far that I've seen out there on these headlights. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. This gets us one step closer to completing our 3000 GT build and getting this car hopefully back on the road soon.